Lisa, 14% drop. Is that warranted?
I don't think so. I think this one is a buying opportunity. I feel today's reaction, I think, was overdone, definitely.
Why?
Because one, the top line news of the day was that Square is selling caviar to DoorDash for $410 million in revenues. We view that as a very, very positive move, a good thing. We've been waiting for Square to do this. Caviar is under intense pressure from, players like Uber Eats and Grubhub, and it's not a core business for Square. They're far better off putting that into somebody else's hands. We estimate that's probably running at about a 50 million negative EBITDA run rate. So actually, it'll be pretty cash-generating transaction for Square. That's funds they'll be able to invest back in the core business.
That said, Lisa, when Square bought Caviar, I remember thinking this doesn't quite make sense to me, and I never quite understood what they intended to do with the business. What didn't happen there that Square wanted to happen?
Yeah, I mean, any high growth, technology company is going to experiment in a lot of different areas. They were sort of experimenting with this idea of having a full service, very integrated solution for restaurants. Restaurants are a really important vertical for them. It's over 25% of their volume. And so they thought of Caviar as an extension of that, of like this full integrated offering. Now, it's just turned out, they bought this business, 5-6 years ago, that the entire competitive environment in food delivery has changed completely since then. I mean, so I certainly don't fault them for buying Caviar in the first place. I'm just glad that they, cut the losses on this one and are getting it over to DoorDash. And look, they're taking equity in DoorDash as part of the transaction, so they'll still have some skin in the game.
Right, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, an entirely different competitive landscape, as you say. So where's the growth going to come from in the future?
Yeah, so the other big news of the day, so in addition to the Caviar sale, was that for the first time, Square disclosed the revenue run rate for their Cash App business, which is the consumer business. This is the Square Cash App. That generates most of its revenues from debit cards, consumers using debit cards, from consumers transferring funds around. They make fees off of that. That literally in the last 3 years has gone from less than $1 million in revenue to they disclosed a quarterly run rate of $135 million in revenue. That is a quarter of Square's business. So what they're doing is they're refocusing on their two core ecosystems, consumer and seller. And the one that is really, really taking off with a steep trajectory is consumer. So by selling off Caviar, they're now able to kind of balance their investments between the consumer ecosystem, which is Cash App, and then also their traditional core seller business, which is all of the POS systems.
Now, talk a little bit about Square Cash. It's sort of been a smash, but like a closet hit, and kind of snuck up on us. What's the importance of that business?
In my view, look, as a standalone business, it's a really interesting, attractive example of these sort of digital banking models. That's sort of an alternative to a checking account for a set of consumers that likes using more of a mobile-enabled kind of digital banking model. But where it can really, over the long term, be exciting for Square is that it gives Square a two-sided ecosystem, both consumers and merchants, which then enables it to kind of create these network effects that are so powerful in payments, where they can do things like, for example, they offer a rewards program called Boost through the Cash App. They can market that to the sellers on the merchant side of the business as a big differentiator of their merchant offering, that they can bring them millions of consumers through this rewards program. It's that two-sided network. I mean, that is truly the holy grail of payments, is to have a two-sided ecosystem. And kind of out of nowhere, honestly, Square has developed one of those just in the last couple of years.